Hello everyone, how's it going? It's me, Trainer Greg McBride, aka Mr. More Than Muscle, the Dad Bod Destroyer, and welcome to the More Than Muscle podcast. This is episode 26, and in today's episode, we'll be covering senseless snacking and how to stop it. Let's get into it. So today we're going to be talking about senseless snacking and why we all do it, why it's just so easy, and then we'll go through a few methods on how to stop, how to fix the problem of this mindless eating, this senseless snacking, the things that we do that we know is harming us and is not allowing us to reach our fitness goals. So let's dig in right now. So why is it so easy to do? One, I have been hearing a lot about this recently, and it has to do with the brain-gut connection. Do you know about the brain-gut connection? How your brain has this direct line to your gut. The gut is sometimes called our second brain, and it's called that because of that connection. And if you go back to when our bodies are in a developmental stage, the tissues in our brain look a lot alike the tissue that's in our gut, in our GI tract. More often than not, when things look similar, they kind of might have similar responsibilities, duties, or capabilities. Now, I'm not going to say that your stomach is going to allow you to do complicated math problems or anything like that. But keep in mind that there is that connection through the valgus nerve that, did I say that right? I didn't. Keep in mind that there is that connection in the vagus nerve that allows you to communicate back and forth directly to the base of your brain. And there's over 100 million different neurons that are connecting and responding and sending messages back and forth through your gut, that lining, and back up to your brain. If you ever feel like you have that gut feeling, you want to know what that is? That is literally an uncomfortable feeling, whatever it may be, in response to different moods, emotions, situations that you may be in, that's sent straight to your brain. So yes, that your gut is very important, and it has some innate animalistic abilities to help us kind of navigate life. It's really cool. So beyond its job with digesting and helping us absorb food, it also does these other things. So when I say it's called the second brain, they've given it a name, ENS, the enteric nervous system, and it does exactly what I explained. So how can we combat this senseless snacking so that we're not harming ourselves any further and impeding the progress of our fitness goals and journey? Junk foods and snack, that's where it starts. I did a survey in my Facebook group and asked some of the members what do they struggle with, and the senseless snacking was the biggest one. So I wanted to dive in deep, and I contacted some of them individually so I can get some information. Why is senseless snacking so hard for you? What is it? We have the emotional side of things. People say they eat when they're bored, when they're sad. Emotion is a big part of it. Boredom is a big part of it. And then convenience, time. These are all the different responses I received when I went in more detail about why we snack without really thinking about it. And there's a whole lot more that goes on underneath the surface if you're not aware that marketing and companies use to kind of really, how can I say, fool us. They try and just find little things to pick at, like these super fad words nowadays: vegan, organic, or you deserve this, take a break. All of this is just to get you wrapped up inside of their scheming, their marketing. So we're going to try to fight that, because when you get these junk foods into your system, this is what happens. There's 5 major things that happen. 5 big things that make snacking on junk food very harmful and hard to stop. Let's just look at 4. 1, they're calorically dense. What does that mean? To be calorically dense means that a small amount of food is jam-packed with a bunch of calories. On the opposite end of the spectrum, you have things like your vegetables, spinach, broccoli, cauliflower. that is sparsely um, calorically dense. And you can see the difference in you can have a little piece of chocolate that could be a few hundred calories, where you can have a cup of salad, a cup of spinach that's only 15 calories. What would you be able to eat more of without getting a lot of calories? Very simple to see. The next thing is they're manufactured to be flooded with flavor. So yes, they want you to enjoy the taste. Why? Because they can get you hooked. You're going to come back again and again and again. And it has a lot to do with fat and salt. Fat and salt are the two things that our bodies crave. Why? People like to say, go back to when, we were more or less nomadic or hunter-gatherers. Foods that were salty, able to preserve, can have longer. Foods that are fat, give us more energy, and so will sustain us over a longer period of time. So we become adapted to craving these foods, and now they're just loading it in all these manufactured, overly processed foods, and so we're getting more and more and more than a lot more than we actually need. So that's number two. Number three, have you ever heard it melt in your mouth? They use it to describe meat, candy. They make it that way. They test it over and over again, try different compounds, different procedures, the way they process the food, so it will literally melt in your mouth. My favorite example, and I hate to pick out any specific company, but a McDonald's French fry. That does not sit in your mouth very long. It just dissolves basically. But it also will sit there and not decay or mold for weeks. Dare I say months and years. There's been some people that save it so you can see that. Google that, see what you find on YouTube. And then it's easy to eat, meaning you have all these bite-sized snacks, bite-sized meals. Everything is meant to just consume all day. So the junk foods, they make it easy for you, which makes it harder for you to stay healthy. Next, you have to think about why this happens. We get used to it. We do the same thing over and over and over again. And when you create habits, they're there for a reason, to make things easier so we don't have to think. But when you create bad habits or habits that aren't beneficial, then you get stuck in a bad slump and you have to figure out how to get out of that. And I'll always talk about habit loops. Habit loops are, I think, the major key to unlocking success in anything in life. Understand why you do what you do. So first you have to figure out the trigger. Why is it that you're bored? Why is it these certain moods come on? Is it around certain events? Is it around certain groups of people that you start to get this senseless, mindless eating, this snacking? When does it happen? When you can identify that trigger, then you have the ability to say, I have this trigger. This is what I want. So a habit loop goes trigger, reward, behavior. Did I say that right? I didn't. Trigger, behavior, reward. So you have to figure out what that behavior is once you're triggered and what you're trying to achieve from that behavior. Because we don't often choose the right things. This is why the emotional eating is the biggest thing, the biggest connection to the mindless eating. Why? Back to the gut-brain connection. When we're sad, when we're not feeling well, you have this gut feeling. And to satisfy that gut feeling, we eat. So what are you going to do? You're going to find your triggers. Is it when you go out to watch sporting events, you're at the bar? Yes, bar food is not going to be the greatest. Not often. But you can learn how to choose and make better decisions. Is it whenever you get home from work, you're so stressed that you just want to crack open a beer, sit back and snack on whatever food is in your house? And that's another big thing. What are you putting in front of you? Don't make it easy. Make eating snack foods like that hard. Don't keep it in your house. So if you have to have it, you have to go outside your house to get it. That will change a lot. It's too accessible. Don't make it accessible for yourself. You won't find yourself mindlessly snacking on it. So find your trigger, create that new habit. Some of the great things that you can do, some great habits to practice are, reading, going for a walk, getting outside, exercising, meditation, yoga, doing something creative. Big thing I love to do. I'm not great at it anymore because I'm not in the practice, but I love to draw. I'll pick up a pen sometimes, and I got countless sketch pads that are sparsely filled with little doodles that I have, and I'll just sketch a little something. I used to do a lot in writing poetry, and I still have, again, same idea, composition books that are just hundreds of blank pages that I've never finished writing. So I can go back in there, pick up on something or write something or type something on my computer, but get the creative juices flowing, because that gives you that endorphins, those feel-good hormones start flowing through your body. The things that you want, the things that you crave, the things that you're trying to achieve through the snacking, you can get in so many different ways. So pick a better behavior to get the reward. Know your triggers, pick a better behavior, and you can still receive those rewards. So now those are the baseline things, but then what do you do above that? So you're still going to eat. You may still snack. How do you snack better? Well, you have to put quality at a higher standard. Don't think about how much you eat. Think about the quality of your food. Like we said, most highly processed foods, snack foods, they are jam-packed with calories. And if you're a person who's trying to lose weight, burn fat, that's not what you want, guys. So make better choices. Have the better snack foods. How much easier is it for you to overeat apples versus a trail mix? When you eat one type of food, you're going to get, let's be honest, you're going to get bored eating it. It's the same texture, same taste over and over and over again. Whereas you can have something like a trail mix that has all these different textures and flavors and salty and sweet, and you're always, your taste buds are excited the whole time. So you can just do it over and over and over, just keep snacking. You're not going to get bored eating that, but you can get bored eating apple, and it's also not as full of calories and fat. So I said that like they're two different things, but it's not calorically dense, so it's also going to lower the amount of calories that you intake, which is necessary for fat loss. So just to surmise what we talked about, snacking, mindless eating, senseless snacking is a big problem. It's tied to stress, emotion, and straight up boredom. Don't be bored. Don't allow yourself to get in that position. Understand that there is a connection between your gut and your brain, and what you want to do is be aware that those emotions, when triggered by whatever it may be, the group of people you're around, the events that you go to, have you craving a certain reward. And most time it's just to feel better. But your behavior inside of that habit loop is the most important thing. When you recognize, hey, I'm in a situation, or I'm not feeling great, this is when I often snack, or it's late at night, this is when I often just rummage through my snack drawer, the pantry, or go into the refrigerator. Understand that you can be aware and change that habit and find something else that's going to give you that reward. Don't be a slave to senseless snacking, and keep working on your goals, guys. Thank you. That's what I have for you today. This is all about how you can combat senseless snacking. Again, if you found benefit from this podcast, please share it with your friends, like it, subscribe to the podcast, and keep growing. And as always, guys,